earlier in my art career, I think there was always a question that was underpinning everything that I created or made. And that question was, is this good enough? Is this good enough compared to other people on the internet? Is this good enough for me to call myself an artist? Is this good enough to share? Is this good enough for me to stand behind? I always seem to be bringing this question with me as I worked in my studio. And really, I think the question underneath that is, am I good enough? And I have mostly stopped doing that now. And I try and use a much more interesting question, which I will share with you in this video. I also wanted to chat through what I'm doing in my own art practice, what I'm doing in my sketchbooks, the art books that are calling to me. I've got two beautiful art books to show you from two really diverse artists that I think you might enjoy. So here are some of the things that I've been playing around with. I've been really interested in tree silhouettes, tree shapes, going for lovely walks in forests, thinking about the symbolism of trees, the symbolism of forests, liminal spaces. So this is just a little concertina book which I was just drawing in when I was watching television, so it's not a finished thing. I want to add in some collage, maybe photocopy some other things from my sketchbook. But there's definitely a tree theme that keeps appearing in my work. This is a sketchbook I started a few months ago with sort of scraps and pieces. You see, get off your phone and go for a nice walk. That's what I've written in my sketchbook. A little note to self. So this is not a full sketchbook. I add pieces and then I come back and work on a page or work on another page. So it sort of grows organically. It's got all kinds of oddments and little experiments and half-finished pages and layering of materials. So that's that sketchbook. Then there's this sketchbook. Trees, lots of them. Interesting shapes. Playing around with mixing materials, collage, drawing, all sorts of things. And then these are some of the acrylic studies that I'm working on. I've got an exhibition coming up that I need to create some artwork for, a group show in July. And I'm just I know that I'm going to do something with trees, I think, but also these sort of vessel shapes with things growing out of them are still calling to me. So I've sort of been playing around and working on some of these as well. So I have lots of irons in the fire at the moment. That's what I feel. I feel like I'm interested in lots of different things and I just need to let that be. Allow that to be just fine and see where my investigations and my creativity take me. Stay with the ideas, stay with the things that are interesting me, even if they're diverse. Let ideas grow, give them enough time. Sometimes I put little notes to myself in my sketchbook, just things that I need to remember. Then when I come back and open my sketchbook, it's a little note to myself. For example, on this page it says pause and play, finding beauty in oddments and offcuts, weird and wonderful bits. So this is what I'm up to in my art practice at the moment. It's diverse, divergent. I'm sort of throwing spaghetti at the wall. I can feel that I've got ideas percolating, developing, but they're not quite there yet. I'm working on a new course. I've got a group exhibition coming up in July. I've got lots of things percolating away. I haven't quite narrowed my focus yet. So I wanted to show you these two books that I've been loving. They're two books that I just keep coming back to recently. I've got so many art books. I've got too many art books, and I often just will peruse through my shelves and say, what is calling to me today, and reflect on what is it in their art that is speaking to me? What is it about what they're doing that is calling my name? What is it that I feel when I look at their art? And what does that tell me about my sensitivities and the things that I seek? It's sort of looking at art books to discover more about me through that looking. So the first book I want to show you is a book called Throughline, and it's a summation of the work of Ruth Asawa. And I knew her work through her beautiful, intricate wire sculptures, but I didn't really know a lot about her drawing or her other work, and I have fallen in love, people. So thinking about what I love in her work, there is a intimacy, a delicacy, a attention. They are intricate, organic, and beautifully observed. There's an order and a discipline in her work that I love. The way she creates these beautifully ornate, elaborate drawings using a marker pen. So this is called 7 Thonet style bentwood chairs from the 1950s, and she's made it with a felt tip pen on paper, and she's really used the shape of the felt tip pen, the mark a felt tip pen makes, and she's created this beautiful composition of the chairs. And there's a combination of intensity and space, and she's sort of used the marks to pick out these chairs in negative space. And I just think it's a really beautifully clever composition that draws you in. And the repetitive, detailed mark making, I just love it. When I look at her work, there's a spirituality, there's a sort of reverence about it. There's something in it that she's taking the beauty of the natural world and she's sort of mapping it out. I mean, I love the rhythm and the repetition of her marks, the attention to detail I really, really enjoy. It feels like she feels like an artist who's paying really close attention to the world and to the things that she finds mesmerising and wonderful. And there's something about that quality in her work that just speaks to me. Finding just the most beautiful moments in the mundane, it's just something that really appeals to my sensitivity, and I love her work. I didn't know too much about her drawing or painting practice. I came to her work via her sculptures, and now I've seen her drawings, I sort of love them even more. Like she's unpacking the universe in her sort of detailed, elaborate, observational drawings that really just beautiful, beautiful. So the book is called Ruth Asawa, Throughline, and it's edited by Kim Conotti and Edward Kopp, and it's published by the Whitney Museum and Yale University Press. Oh, look at that. Oh, just fabulous. Lovely book. And the second book I wanted to share with you is a really different artist, but also just, sumptuous in her work. And this is a book of the work of Joan Mitchell.
And it's edited by Sarah Roberts and Katie Siegel, and it's published by San Francisco Museum of Modern Art in association with Yale University Press.
So the American abstract expressionist, and she painted on such a sort of enormous gestural scale. And the thing about her work that really appeals to me is the kind of wildness of it, the unapologeticness of it, the gestural embodiedness of it, the freedom in it. I believe she tended to paint from memory and paint the memory of a landscape or the memory of what she had seen. So her paintings are very much imbued with what was left behind from her observation. the essence, the sense, the feeling of place. I think it's a real skill to get paintings of this nature to look so mesmerising, so balanced, so cohesive. You know, there's a wildness, but there is also an order in these paintings that really speaks to me. I really love it. So different from the work of Ruth Asawa. But I think there are just really beautiful elements from both of their work. There's a real confidence in the way that she's put the paint on the page. She's allowed a mark just to arrive on that painting with a boldness and embodiedness. I mean, they're big. This one's 2.6 metres by 2 metres. So they're sort of big paintings. They're sort of like landscapes in themselves. You know, when I look at these two artists together, I can really appreciate their different sensibilities. And I've been thinking about what I love in my own work, and I love a bit of control coupled with a bit of wildness. I like order, but I also like chaos. And there's a sort of sense that these two artists together sort of help me reflect on what it is that I enjoy in my work. By looking at others' art, I think we can learn about ourselves as artists. You know, sometimes there's real intensity in her paintings, and then other times there's sort of a spaciousness. I like the paintings that have both of those embodied in the same painting, but I just find them just stunningly beautiful. I just think looking at art books is so lovely. Getting back to interesting questions that we need to ask ourselves about our own work. The question that I try and ask myself now is not, is this good enough? The is this good enough question is pernicious, I think. It's judgmental, isn't it? We're not necessarily assessing, we're judging, and I think there is a difference. The question I ask is, how do I want this painting to feel, and does it feel that? It's a much more inquisitive question. It's a much more curious question. It's a much more helpful question. I have found that anyway. It opens doorways. It gives me something to think about that isn't, is this good enough? Am I good enough? It's much more around expression. Does this painting feel how I want it to feel? And that is a much more powerful guiding question. It's a shift from judgment to expression, really. It allows for more ambiguity, I think. It allows for less absolutes. One day I might be painting in a way that is really sort of gestural, and another day I might want order and discipline. And all of those things are welcome. All of those things are part of me as an artist expressing what I want to express. And I think that is why it's a much kinder generative question, because it's allowing ourselves to be in our artwork. It's allowing what we feel to be in our artwork. It's art as expression of self, not proving of self. So that is what I'm up to in my art making at the moment. All sorts of things going on. I'm hoping that my sketchbook is going to get me where I need to go. I'm hoping I can lean on my sketchbook and find the threads and sew them together. I've put links to both the artists and both of these books in the description below. Does this thing I'm making feel how I want it to feel? That's the question. So that's it really. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll be back with you in a fortnight.